What is up, y'all? It's your man Dad Dude bringing you guys another video. My channel is almost to 300 subscribers, which may not seem like a lot, but it's a lot to me. So I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for the support. And yeah, if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed and you're so inclined, go hit that button. If you've seen some of my videos, you probably know that I am not a Baker Mayfield defender. I am not a Baker Mayfield fan. I was not in favor of the Panthers trading for him. I thought it was the right move to bench him, and I thought it was the right move to agree to release him. All those things are true, and I would expect they're true for many of you guys also. You know, maybe not the trading for him part. I know a lot of Panthers fans were in favor of the trade, but the benching him and releasing him, I think most fans agree with those moves. Those things can be true, and you can also be very happy for the way that Baker Mayfield went out there on that Thursday night for the Rams and led that team to a victory. How can you not root for Baker in that circumstance? The guy had just signed with the Rams like the day before, 2 days before, hadn't had any practice time with the team. I don't think he's had any kind of meaningful meetings with the coaching staff. So he has no timing with the receivers. I'm not sure he knows any kind of play calls to make audibles at the line or anything like that, anything complex like that. And he still goes out there and manages to lead that team to a victory. Now, he didn't play well for most of the game, but you wouldn't expect him to play well for most of that game. He had just signed to the team. It was perfectly reasonable and should have been expected for him to play badly, and he did for most of the game. But when it mattered, when that team needed him, when they needed him to go out there and lead 2 touchdown drives in the fourth quarter, he did that. How can you not root for that? Now, I know a lot of people don't like Baker for a myriad of reasons. I happen to be, while I'm not a fan of Baker the player, I like Baker the person. I like players that are cocky or braggadocious or arrogant, however you want to put it. I much prefer that authentic arrogance over the inauthentic humility we get from a lot of players. Like that just doesn't do anything for me. I'd rather you be loud and arrogant in my face with how much you believe in your abilities than every time somebody asks you a question, you're just all shucks, I'm just happy to be here. That I know you don't actually believe that. I don't need you to lie to me. Like I don't get why a lot of people are so threatened by arrogance. To me, I think it's very authentic, and I like it, especially in my athletes, because you know that's how they think, or they believe in themselves. That's how they think on the inside. I'd much rather they say that, and we get that with Baker. The guy is cocky, he's arrogant, he's braggadocious, he's all those things, and I like that about him. I'm not a fan of his as a player. I think he's a very limited quarterback, but even with that, with those limitations I think he has as a quarterback, he still went out there and led the Rams to that victory with 2 fourth quarter drives in the two touchdown drives in the fourth quarter. One of them being a 98-yard touchdown drive in the closing minute of the game. That is a true underdog start right there. A guy who had been booted from his original, for the team that originally drafted him, the Browns, got booted from that franchise, goes to the Panthers, doesn't have success, gets booted from the Panthers, signs with the Rams on very, very, very short notice. Really got to emphasize very short notice. And manages to go out there, manages to go out there and lead the Rams to a victory on a Thursday night where he had no prep time, no practice time, and he managed to seal the deal. How do you not root for that? How do you not feel happy for the guy who is able to pull that off? Whether you like him or not, whether you're a fan of his or not, whether you are a fan of the Rams or the Panthers or not, just say if you're a general sports fan, you should feel good about what Baker was able to do, because that was just impressive. That is the kind of things that movies are made about. That whether or not he ultimately has success in the league going forward, I don't know. Again, I think he's a very limited quarterback, but he's always going to have that moment, and that moment is always going to mean something. And I don't think he's going to have sustained success with the Rams because that team was already bad. They have a lot of injuries. Their offensive line is just beat up. They're missing their best receiver, so on and so forth. But he was still able to go out there and lead that team to a win. I'm sure it feels great for him. I'm happy for him. And I don't know how anybody could not be happy for the guy. Yeah, I get it. I'm a Panthers fan. Most of my audience is Panthers fans. It sucks that he couldn't play well for the team that we root for. But even with that, and he definitely does share in some of the blame as to why he didn't play well for the Panthers. I'm going to make a separate video about that. But he definitely shares in some of the blame why he didn't play well in Carolina. Even with that, you got to root for the guy with that performance he had on Thursday night. Now, going forward, like next week, Am I going to root for Baker Mayfield? I mean, probably not. I probably won't even care. I probably won't even really watch the game. But that Thursday night game, given that it was the only game on TV, everybody's watching it, he had just signed with the team, no prep time, no meaningful meetings with the coaches, no timing with the receivers or tight ends, nothing like that. He's going out there as raw as could be and manages to lead that team to a victory. Like that, put a smile on my face. If you didn't watch the end of that game smiling, I don't know what's going on in your heart. Like maybe you just got an icebox where your heart used to be, to quote a famous philosopher of our time, Lil Wayne. I don't know how you can watch that and not feel good for Baker Mayfield. That was a great performance in the closing minutes of the game. Good for him. I'm happy for the guy, and I think you should be too. That's what I have for you on this one, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go hit that thumbs up. And if you're so inclined, subscribe and leave a comment. I respond to almost everything, and I'll see you guys in the next one.